Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. Learn how to leverage CARES Act funding at the local and state level for your program. Today's webinar is generously sponsored by Work Ethic, and today we have Chris Carmen from Work Ethic who's going to share a few words and a video with us. Chris? You're on mute.
Unmute. How's that?
There you go. Perfect.
All right. Thanks so much. I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Chris Carmen from the Center for Work Ethic Development, and we are really proud to be able to sponsor today's webinar. I'm going to do a screen share here. Just give me 1 second. Give you guys a little bit of background about who the Center for Work Ethic Development is. The Center for Work Ethic Development, we are really passionate about helping people and job seekers. We understand that the environment right now that we're in is very challenging for a lot of job seekers. And if you've done workforce development for any length of time, one of the things that we see is the stabilization and power of helping people get back to work and really thrive and build self-worth and self-sufficiency. The Center for Work Ethic Development was founded in 2011. We're based here in Colorado, and we have a wide network across the United States as well as globally. We are in 6 different countries. We're across all 50 states, and we work with about 750 different organizations. We are the producers of Bring Your A Game, which is a soft skills curriculum. And we have really 2 solutions. We've got an in-person curriculum, and we've got an online curriculum that's e-learning that supports distance learning. Apparently, that's something in this past year that's been very important for us to do. The online curriculum is really nice. There's a lot of flexibility there. We've got 10 learning modules, post-knowledge checks, access to certificates of work ethic proficiency. And we find that this really supports people's job search as they go out and work with employers. And so that's a little bit about us today. My contact information is here. We often sponsor and attend COABE conferences, and we look forward to connecting with you in the future. And I'm going to do a quick video here for you. And this is from our CEO, Josh Davies. Some of you may know Josh. He is a great presenter and has done many plenary speaking engagements. So let's get my video here to start for you.
Welcome. My name is Josh Davies, and I'm the CEO of the Center for Work Ethic Development, the providers of Bring Your A Game, the engaging curriculum developing the workplace skills employers demand. We are proud to support the Coalition on Adult Basic Education in their 2020 webinar series. And what a year 2020 has been. This year has been wild, unprecedented, chaotic, challenging, and transforming. It reminds us that there is only one constant. Change, 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 change. You have adapted, and we've adapted with you. We are proud to announce that we have developed an e-learning version of our workplace skills curriculum, Bring Your A Game Anywhere. This 10-module asynchronous training builds the skills your employees demand, leads to earning their certificate of work ethic proficiency, and can be used on any device, anytime, anywhere. To learn more, go to www.bringyour-agame.com. We hope you enjoy this awesome webinar with Jeff Arnold.
All right, I guess it's my turn. Hold on one second. Eddie, I appreciate it, Chris, and tell Josh best wishes as well. I know Josh pretty well, and I was so happy to see he was sponsoring this webinar, which I was
Oh
so
yeah,
thrilled about.
no problem. Good. We're happy to do it, and thanks so much for giving us the opportunity to support.
No problem. We will talk soon.
All righty.
Thanks so much, Chris.
Okay, my name is Jeff Arnold, as James so graciously introduced me. I currently work for the School District of Osceola County. I'm their Executive Director of Post-Secondary and Secondary Career and Technical Education, and under the realm of post-secondary is adult education. And I have at least, oh my goodness, I have to start thinking now, about 12, 13, 14 years maybe of working with adult education programs in one capacity or another. And I'm also a doctoral candidate at the University of Pennsylvania. I got my proposal hearing coming up, and I'm, like I said, on the back end of that. So can't wait to get that done. And of course, you'll see it again. You can always follow me on Twitter at Jeffrey Arnott. That's Jefffery, Arnott. And I'm also the ACE of Florida, our president-elect. I take over on July 1st there as well. And of course, I am graciously and humbly am able to serve on the COA board. I'm their current board secretary, and I've also been a regional rep for the southeastern part of the United States. So I'm very happy to be there on that. Let's talk about leveraging CARES funds. This is a something that just kind of happened in Osceola County, and us receiving some CARES funds, but there was a lot of things that were in place for us in order to get this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a background of a little bit about the CARES Act, a little bit about how it came to Florida and how it got distributed to the local level, and then I'm going to talk about two other states where their governors, one Republican and one Democrat, actually used CARES grant money to support their causes in their home states. So once again, a very bipartisan issue itself. And okay, here's a little bit about the CARES Act. The Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Securities CARES Act was passed by Congress by overwhelmingly bipartisan support and signed by the president in March of 2020. This basically was $2 trillion of economic impact to the local level to help not only just healthcare providers, but also to ward off some of the economic impacts of COVID-19, like direct payments to people, the $1,200 checks, and also some of the money that went to small businesses to pay. I think it was the Paycheck Protection Act. I believe that was as a result of this. And there has been a couple ones since this. And of course, Congress right now is talking about an extension of the CARES Act as we speak as well. The idea was to provide fast and direct assistance to American workers, families, and small businesses to preserve jobs for our American industries right here in the United States. And basically, Osceola County, let me tell you a little bit about this. This is what everyone thinks of. And I use this picture because I collect old school Florida postcards, and I came across this gem. It brings me back to my childhood in the 70s and early 80s, of Walt Disney World and the Contemporary Hotel. And, as a little kid, I lived up north, and this is in West Virginia mostly. And this is what I thought Florida was like. And a lot of Florida is like this. It is, especially here in the tourist belt. But you'll see here in a second that tourism definitely drives a lot of the economy here in Central Florida. And of course, people aren't traveling. So put 2 + 2 together there. But anyway, Osceola County is geographically located south of Orlando, which is Orange County on that map. That's where I personally live myself, is in Orange County. But Osceola County is a vast, massive county that has a lot of characteristics of suburbia, has a lot of characteristics of small town, and it has a lot of rural areas too, especially in the southern part of the county. In fact, cattle is one of the largest industries here. In fact, Florida is only behind Texas in the number of cattle that is actually produced in the United States. And that's a picture of our old courthouse in Kissimmee. And Kissimmee is the county seat of Osceola County. Here's a profile of Osceola County, just to give you an idea of how much explosive growth we've had. And Central Florida is one of the fastest growing, if it's not the fastest growing area of the United States pre-COVID. We'll see how it all pans out. But in 2010, 2010, there was 268,000 and some odd residents here in the county itself. And in 2019, there was 375,000 residents here. That is a growth of 40% over a period of 10 years. So the population is growing. It's growing fast. New development is going everywhere along the 192 corridor, all the way out from Harmony to Celebration itself. We are located in the Orlando metropolitan area, which has a population of 2.6 million. It's also fastly growing, and we're the fastest growing part of the fastest growing metropolitan area in the United States. That's the way I like to say Osceola County. The major cities in Osceola County include St. Cloud, Kissimmee, which people maybe have heard from some advertisements, Celebration, which is a community that was developed a little bit by Disney World. It's a little, you just have to come down and see it. And then Poinciana is a bedroom community, which is not incorporated, a little bit south of Kissimmee, kind of on the outskirts of of Central Florida. And so is Harmony, which I didn't put on here. That's a new community that's being developed a little bit closer toward the Space Coast. Major industry in Central Florida include tourism, agriculture, finance, technology, medical, and manufacturing. And there's other unique manufacturing things here. A lot of stuff is based around the space industry, which is very close by. And when it comes to technology, actually a lot of the gaming industry, when I say gaming, I mean video gaming industry, is created here in Central Florida. Your Grand Theft Autos and some of those particular games, or a lot of those are developed here locally. We have several large colleges in the area, including the largest in the United States, the University of Central Florida, and Valencia College, and we have a few technical colleges. In fact, Osceola County operates one called Osceola Technical College, which I work very closely with, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. Here's the school district of Osceola County. We have 72,000 students as of last year. It's down a little bit now with COVID. We're in one of the 50 largest school districts in the United States. We have 60 schools, 26 charter schools, and we have 2 adult programs. That's the Adult Learning Center of Osceola, also known as ALCO, and the Osceola Technical College, known as OTEC. They work very closely together, and we like to transition as many students as we can from ALCO to OTEC. And of course, we have great partnerships with Valencia College and a few others that I've mentioned before too. And here's a little bit about our background. And this is actually in Lake Eola Park in Orlando. And actually, I live in that picture somewhere in one of those buildings. Walt Disney World is our largest employer in the Central Florida area with 75,000 employees. And you may have heard in the news here recently, they've laid off like 30,000 employees, or 20, I think it was 25,000 between California and Orlando. So that is a significant wave that has hit Central Florida significantly hard. A lot of these jobs, you can't work at home. A lot of these jobs, and also there's a lot of secondary jobs that went with that, like the hotel industries, your Marriott's, your Hilton's, your Hyatt's, a lot of those companies. And also, of course, we're one of the largest convention center locations in the United States as well. We're right up there with Las Vegas. And of course, companies aren't traveling. So that has really taken a triple, quadruple wave on the economy here in Central Florida. Tourists aren't coming, and business conventions aren't coming. The second largest one is Advent Health System with 36,000 employees. I had no idea that Advent Health was that big in this area when doing research for this presentation. Orange County Public Schools, which is our neighbors to the north, employ about 25,000, and in Osceola County schools, we employ about 8,000. Universal Studios Florida, 24,500, once again tied to the tourist industry. Orlando Health is 20,400. So you can see the largest employers in Central Florida in the top 5. One's a school district, 2 are in the medical field, and then 2 are in the tourist field. So we really wanted to look at how we can help out students who are being negatively affected by COVID into a job that's sustainable. Medical is definitely one of those jobs that's sustainable. So you'll hear a little bit how we tied all this together here. This is how we used our local CARES funds itself. And of course, Osceola County School District, another thing I forgot to mention, over 75% of our students are students of color. We have a very large ESL population here locally. A lot of our residents come from Puerto Rico, and we had an influx of residents from Puerto Rico after a couple of the major hurricanes that occurred down there over the past few years. And it is, a lot of people like to move to Florida. The weather's, especially today, the weather's gorgeous. So it has a lot of that. And a lot of our schools are Title I schools as well. In fact, 75% of them are. So we do have and we already have food security, insecurity issues and everything else without COVID even being out there. So under the Local CARES Act, the state of Florida received $8.3 billion was allocated to the state. And it was up to the state on how they wanted to allocate it. 2.47 billion of these funds were allocated to local governments. And these could be city governments, county governments, of the like. There was in the county commissioners, that's the county in Osceola, and Florida is set up with county governments throughout the state, and also there's local mayors and local city governments as well. The county commissioners are pretty powerful down here in the state of Florida. They oversee not only the incorporated areas, but there's a lot of overlap between the county governments and the city governments and local governments here in Florida, which is probably no different than anywhere else. But part of this first wave of this CARES fund that came to Florida, when we received it, Florida local governments had to dispose of the money, or distribute the money, I should say, by December 30th of 2020, which is right around the corner. So there was a little bit of a scramble to get the money and spend it real quick. 13 million of those dollars were set aside toward rental assistance, mortgage assistance to local residents in Osceola County, with the other $3.2 million, which was discretionary, for local economic development, small business assistance. Then $49 million would go toward future reimbursement of programs that assist individuals and businesses. That's the money that we tapped into here locally at ALCO and OTEC for post-secondary funding. And larger counties in Florida, which were not considered a larger county in Florida, these would be like your Miami-Dade, your Orlando's, Tampa's, receive their funding directly from Washington. So they have a little bit of, I guess you say, extra time to figure out what they wanted to do with the money. The smaller and medium-sized counties received their monies directly from the state. They went to the state government, and then it came down locally to us. And here's a background about how we got the money. And that's a great picture there with our superintendent, Dr. Pace, who's on the left, phenomenal person to work for. And then the other individuals in the picture are some state legislatures. I know one of them's a state legislature, a couple school board members, and some of the county commissioners. They wanted to bring us, I love the big check presentations. That's a big thing for me. But anyway, that's when they brought us about over $2 million to help support Osceola, the school district of Osceola County. Of that 2.2 some million dollars that we received, 2 million went to computers for students and to support workforce education. 250,000 of that went toward workforce and adult education efforts, and 30,000 went to ALCO to purchase tablets and to pay tuition for adult ESL students and pay for some GED testing. And you might say, whoa, that was pretty nice. And I just wanted to give kudos to our superintendent, Dr. Pace. Dr. Pace actually was in conversation when this is where advocacy works. If you take anything away from this presentation, this is where advocacy works. Dr. Pace reached out to me and asked me, Jeff, I have a great idea. I would love to give some of this money for adult education and give some of it to workforce education so we can help our community that will indirectly help our students. And let's try to get people sustainable jobs so they stay locally in the county and help our adult residents and so forth like that. That just came from me always talking to Dr. Pace about what we needed, because I've worked with Dr. Pace not only in this district, but in another district, just talking about just adult education, and adult education. So it worked. She, in fact, I almost cried the day when she asked me, I really want to spend some of this money for this, and we want to get some money for computers for our sixth graders because we needed more laptops and so forth. So it was just a great way that it all panned out. It didn't go to anybody else. It went to those two projects. And here's ALCO. ALCO is a division of the school district of Osceola County. It's ran by Karen Combs, wonderful principal that we have. She oversees the program, and Michelle Overstreet's our assistant principal. And actually, my coordinator, Tim Burdett, was actually the assistant principal at ALCO. So we have a real soft spot, and I used to be an adult education director myself, so I definitely have a soft spot for ALCO when operating that stuff. But ALCO is a pretty large program. We have over 3,000 students a year that we serve through that program. We're down a little bit right now because of COVID. However, I was just talking to Karen this morning, and she was saying that the enrollments are actually up going into the spring term, which we're very, very happy for. So really, we're making some efforts to really get some students in. 80% of our students here locally in Osceola County are adult ESL students. And of course, the other 20% are ABE, GED prep, and we do have a very small adult high school program. So most of our students are adult ESL students. And we have two main campuses. We have one in Poinciana, that's the bedroom community way south in the county. It takes about 45 minutes to get there sometimes. And then we have one in Kissimmee, that's our major campus, which is located in between St. Cloud and Kissimmee is where that campus is located. And we have several off-campus locations serving the communities of St. Cloud and Celebration. But this is how the money was spent when we got the money. We had to fill out a contract with the county. We told them we needed it for these particular things. It was like a mini little grant proposal that we had to write. It probably took me a day and a half probably, and then going back a little bit back and forth between the county, the people of the county commission's office and us to really just say, well, you can spend that, you can do this, you can do that, those little negotiation things. But this is what we came up with. Immediately, Karen, my principal, said we got to help pay for some tuition for adult ESL students. And we really wanted to look at this as how we could grow our program at the same time. So this 100 adult ESL students were new students to our program. We did we actually asked for $10,000, which I forgot to put on this, which we got for advertising and promoting our short-term micro-credentialing programs, which we were developing, and how we can get more adult ESL students into our programs. We figure adult ESL students could come in and become part of our micro-credentialing program and maybe transition over to Osceola Technical College. So there is a little bit of a pipeline here that we're trying to develop as we are looking for new students. We just didn't want to take the money and supplant it per se. We really wanted, which it's probably illegal anyway, but we really wanted to try to how we can grow our program. So we went through that. We went through that money pretty quick. And in Florida, I know some people may be going like, well, isn't adult ESL programs free? Yeah, in some states they are. In Florida, we do charge $30 a term for adult ESL services as is what the state of Florida asks us for to collect for that. We secured some fundings for students, currently enrolled students, to take their GED, and we developed some cohort scheduling here for GED programs, which was really taken off nicely as well. How we can get some money to help students pay for those, especially students that were unemployed or were affected from COVID. That was kind of the big thing with this grant. We definitely had to work with people that were affected by COVID. And we also started up some short-term micro-credentialing programs, which I know our chancellor in Tallahassee is all about right now. And I'm all about it too, actually, at this moment too, how we can get some short-term trainings to some of our adult students. And we really wanted to look for jobs that could help, credentialing that can help students that were affected by the layoffs at Walt Disney World, Universal Studios, and other companies throughout Central Florida. So we let a focus on medical and the construction trades, because construction has not stopped here in Central Florida. In fact, they doubled down. Our governor actually put more money or during the height of the pandemic to really speed up the construction of I-4 through downtown Orlando so we can get it done quicker. So when the pandemic's over, we have a nice new highway that's done way quicker, and it has moved along pretty quick. So I have to give them kudos there. So we really wanted to look at that. We also purchased 25 Apple computers for training for computer coding. We figured that's this info, the cybersecurity thing is starting to become a big thing now. So we really wanted to look how we could do that. We also purchased 50 iPads for our to create an adult family literacy project that's coming in 2021. We're working very close with our multicultural department to really look at those students who are struggling, who are children of our students in adult ESL. So the parents can receive some training and the students can get some extra training as well. So that's coming. We're developing that. We're real excited about that particular project. So basically, ALCO, as focused here before, and these are pictures of real students, by the way, and so forth. Like I said, the money we use this money to purchase a focus on workforce credentialing and family literacy. We felt those are the two things that we really wanted to tie with this money. Here's our adult ESL class in Kissimmee. There's one of them. And also, just for the record, I just want to clear it. The teacher waving does have a clear mask on her face. So she does have she is protected. But these are some of our adult ESL students that came on board. And here, I just want to show you, I might have to stop share and reshare. Hold on. Some of the press releases that the school district did, or we did in order to promote what we've done and so forth like that. We felt that this was such a nice gift that we really wanted to make sure the media was there. In fact, I'll show you a video clip here in a few minutes from one of the local news stations that when our communications department made sure every news network was here, ABC, CBS, and the other one, NBC and Fox, and also Telemundo were here, and including some of the news, the print media as well, when they were doing this check presentation. So it really it was really presented very, very well into the news. And our communications department did this wonderful thing here. And of course, I'll be more than happy to share all this after the presentation with anybody who wants it. But basically, we just really wanted to show off what we were going to do with it. And some of the things we did was the patient care technician 16-week rapid credentialing program. We have Microsoft Office specialist programs. And normally we would charge for these particular courses, but we use that money to pay for the tuition to offer these particular programs to the students. And as we also found some nice partnerships as a result as well, which we're pretty excited about, which we'll talk about in a second. Okay. Okay. Here's some of the computer training that we did, and some of our computer training. This is actually a different photo. This is not from the computer training course, but with the computer training, we really wanted to focus on some Microsoft Office tools. I know the students are getting ready to take their Microsoft Word. They're going to have Excel, PowerPoint, and and Access, just to name a few. And we're going to look and see where these students, if they want to take some additional stuff. We actually worked with some of our partners who actually let us pilot this for free. So the students are getting free tests, and the students are getting free tuition. And we did do a massive marketing campaign through social media. And I'd say there was a nice mix of students from outside the area and also students that were our current adult ESL or other adult ed students in those particular classes. In fact, here's one of the classes. This is one of our classes from our Microsoft Office training. There was 13 students on the first class that we had that enrolled into our course. Students have the opportunity to take the exam. There was no cost to the student, and we figured it out. This would normally cost about $350 for the students to take this particular course, with us making a small profit, which we have to by Florida law. And also, like I said, the trainings would have costed over $300, but they were free to our students themselves. And I know some people may ask, was this reportable to the state of Florida? No, it wasn't reportable. We felt it was just a good way to get our students workforce skills, and then maybe transition a few of them over to OTech or into the workforce. We're going to work that stuff out here once we just really want to get these programs up and running. But we really we're going to explore how we can do some of that type of stuff once we get settled in with some of these short-term trainings. And many of these programs, like I said, many of the students were for our adult education programs. Here's our first medical program. It was a 6 weeks training course. We actually working with Abbott Health. They're going to, and Orlando Health's going to chime in and help out eventually as well. They're just not ready to do it yet. And also HCA. These students will have, not only they get the patient care technician training, but they'll have the opportunity to do some internships over at the local hospital, and they'll be able to, and the hospital has said they're going to give them all an interview to work for the hospital once they go through the training. So these are going to be real sustainable jobs, real good jobs. I got to give my resource teacher, Erin, a real shout out. She's the one who really developed a lot of these programs to really, and really built those communications with our local hospitals. And I know Matt Tuchman, who's left our program, was also instrumental in getting some of those relationships built. So once again, another lesson to take from this is the relationships that you have, grow them even more, because you never know when those opportunities like this would happen. Just because our school district had that relationship, it made this transition and this conversation pretty easy and pretty quick. So that's another good thing. And we got this starting up. Tim Burdett, my coordinator, came up with this idea. I guess they've done this with adult education students. We're going to start this one up in January 4th. It's a rapid credentials with the conjunction with OTEC. They're going to receive multiple certifications from OSHA safety to introduction to power tools. Sorry, I cut that off at the bottom. Forklift training. We just got 2 new forklifts yesterday, which we're pretty fired up about. But students will be able to go through this program and get a variety of different skills. Once again, the idea is to recruit a lot of our adult ed students, give them a sustainability job, and also keep them in adult education, because that's another problem, as we know, keeping students engaged and keeping them around. So we figure this could be a win-win across the board and help our community and help our parents, which, from our K-12 students. So we're, like I said, we just can't get enough of that. And of course, Josh Davies and the crowd would like this as well. We're putting communication skills in there as well. And of course, a lot of employability skills will be incorporated deep into some of these programs. And news in the story, we've had, like I said, I showed you some of these particular ones, but here's a little clip from, I'll have to stop sharing to show this one, from the local news media. And I apologize if you have to watch a 10-second commercial from a local car dealership or something, but I can't avoid it. I guess somebody has to pay for the good news. Let's see here we go. This was just some of the great positive press that we received. Here we go.
Officials a check today, and we spoke to Superintendent Dr. Deborah Pace. She says this money will be used for all sorts of programs like ESOL, STEM, and job training for students. But most importantly, she mentioned that the district will be using the money to buy nearly 4,000 laptops to support distance learning, since they had a shortage of devices during the beginning of the school year.
3,800 laptops goes a long way, because as students have continued to enroll in our district, there remains a need for laptop devices. We've been devastated in many respects by COVID-19. So many of our families are out of work. Children are hungry and people are frightened.
And we also asked Dr. Pace about personal protection equipment for classrooms. She said the district has been using its own funding to purchase supplies for classrooms. She explained the number of cases in schools remain low right now and that all schools are open. Back in August, Harmony Middle School was forced to shut down after nearly a dozen staff members contracted the virus. Everyone was able to return on September 14th. And Dr. Pace mentioned they plan on using the CARES Act money right away. In fact, they already placed orders for those needed laptops so that students can get them as soon as possible. In Osceola County, Ezzy Castro getting results, News 6.
Okay, that's Local 6. Giving some nice positive press to our superintendent and some of our programs. So that was, like I said, that was a great day. And you noticed it happened at 12:03. So it was like one of the head stories of the day. So we were pretty excited about that. So basically the lesson to learn is keep your program in the limelight, keep advocating, keep fighting for adult ed, and keep fighting for workforce ed if there's workforce folks on here too, because you never know when you have to cash those chips in. And I tell you, this was an example of just talking, and guess what? It paid off. So the opportunity arose from continuing advocating for adult and workforce education at the local level. COABE does a wonderful job, and COABE can help you. You know, how you can support your group. In fact, there's some great stuff on the website, on the COABE website, which I highly look everyone to go to on how to advocate locally at the state, national, and of course the federal level, and of course the local level. So basically, you want to put yourself, you want people to think of your program first, and that's kind of what happened with our soup. Keep your programs in the mind of school leaders, and when you say school leaders, that means people you work around. I think because a lot of times there's people in school districts and colleges that don't know that much about adult education, so you really want to keep it up in the limelight. Build community partners such as local Department of Labor. I can tell you in the county I worked in, the Department of Labor always called me first for grant opportunities and money opportunities. So you want to put yourself into that thing. And if you're able to, I know in some places you can, in some places you can't, connect and engage with local elected officials. Bring them out to your programs. Let them see what you're doing, and so forth. We're going to have a tour here in a little bit as soon as COVID's over, and you want elected officials to know who you are as well. So that's the stuff. And of course, support COABE in your local state of education. Out here, ACE of Florida here in the state of Florida does a wonderful job. We go to Tallahassee a couple times a year to advocate for adult education, get involved and be part of that. And I know COABE has the virtual Capitol Hill days, and eventually I'm sure we'll bring back the real Capitol Hill days to get up and engage with your federal folks. And remember, your federal folks also have offices here in Florida, well, in your home state, but we do have them here in Florida. In fact, Marco Rubio's office is right down the street from me. And so forth. And I was speaking of the national level, I just wanted to show a couple of these stories as well. You know, in Michigan and Iowa, for instance, their governors actually gave adult education money through their CARES Act grant. And the reason why I picked these two governors is because Whitmer out of Michigan is a Democrat, and Governor Kim Reynolds out of Iowa is a Republican. This is a very nonpartisan issue. So that's the good thing about adult education and workforce education. I think everybody wants kids to be successful in school. I think everybody wants adults to read, and I think everybody wants people to work. So those are some of the stuff. And here's a couple press releases that they actually talked about. In fact, I thought these were pretty good. I'll share the one from Governor Whitmer. I have to unshare and then reshare. Yeah, right here, it shows Governor Whitmer launches new first and national futures frontline program to offer essential frontline workers a tuition-free path to community colleges. And she does mention in here about adult education. So she's actually targeting students as well that have been affected from the coronavirus. And she's going after I like that, the future of frontliner, much a tongue twister, programs. And basically working here, medical fields, keep manufacturing PPE, you know, things that they could do to help that. And it looks like I think it was 24 million she advocated, put in there, but there was quite a bit of money that she did put in there. So I just wanted to share that particular story as well. All right. Okay, and the Governor Kim Reynolds is on the oops. And for some reason, it's not letting me share that one. But let me see if I can get it. But what Iowa did, they broke it up into three different buckets of money. Here we go. They did it for higher ed. They did it for capacity building and professional development, and also $1 million for grants to provide adult education and literacy services. Right there it is. And they have to, and this is where it's important. You really have to look at the state laws. I know Florida, we had to dispose of it by December 30th, or not spend it, but allocate it by December 30th. Iowa here, it lets you go to June 30th of 2021. So that's what it comes down to. So that is pretty much our story. Let me get back up to the PowerPoint. But I would say by doing this, I did a little research on this on Florida. Definitely research what your state does. talk to your state association. They may already have some advice on this. You can email me directly if you want to as well, and I can definitely I will check with COABE myself for you to see who to get a hold of. And of course, check your local. I found a lot of information from the local governor's office. I found a lot of information from the local county commissioners. So I found all kinds of good stuff. But anyway, there's my contact information. There's my email address. My first name is spelled a little funky, so it's JEFFERY.Arnott. I just go by Jeff at OsceolaSchools.net. There's my cell phone number. Call or text anytime. And there's my Twitter account too. You can always follow, see what I'm doing, and I do. My Twitter account, I do post a lot of stuff that I'm doing with ALCO and OTEC and some of the in our career technical education programs. I also oversee those as well in our high schools and middle schools. So, but anyway, that's a little bit of our world locally here in Osceola. And James, I'll turn it back over to you if you got any closing remarks or we want to answer a few questions.
Yeah, Jeff, there is a couple questions.
Sure.
Do you have access to the Q&A, or do you?
I do have access to that, and looks like says here, yes, Melissa Perry. I know Melissa very well up there in Palatka, Florida. Can you tell me more about your micro credentialings? Yeah, we did a little of the micro credentialings around the around what our community needs were. We did some little bit of research within our own stuff. Talked to Career Source, and Career Source, by the way, is our Department of Labor for those non-Floridians out there, and really decided which ones we could get the most bang for out of the buck, and which ones we could get students jobs pretty quick. So we did look toward technology, construction, and medical. We felt that those three were the three areas that people could, transition their career out of Walt Disney World, because they were transitioned out, unfortunately, and how they could retool themselves quickly to get on over there. And also, when I was doing the research too, Melissa, I did see a lot of news reports. I was checking out all the Channel 6 news stuff. They did have a lot of Orange County, especially Valencia College, the school district up there. And I know there was a few community organizations that also got some of these training dollars in Orlando to do the same thing. So it's definitely worth checking out at the local level. It seems like it's a mission that a lot of local governments are wanting to do here. So I do have that question open, and says here, can you share your mini curriculum for the mini field? Yes. You got my email. Email me. I'll have Aaron send you over the stuff. I know they just developed it, so I'll be more than happy to do that. And Miss Bonnie has said there's a few links in the chat box. Let me see if I can find those. Do you see those, James? The links? Because I don't see the links.
Yeah, I do. Yep. There's
Okay.
several links in there with a lot of really good information for good links on talking points and how to contact your legislatures locally and statewide and federally as well.
Yeah, for some reason I'm not seeing those, but I can say from personal experience, for the folks on the call, if they're not familiar with it, it's a very easy, probably 4 steps, click, 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 and next thing you know, you're getting your message to your governor, state legislatures, mayors, the federal legislatures. You could send it to a lot of different people, and then you can even take those messages that are already there that really talk a lot that. You can even add a little bit of message on there about your little program, which I do regularly. And stuff. So yes, those are some great tools. And like I said, coabe.org, bookmark that, everybody. I'm sure if you're on this webinar, you probably already do, but definitely spread out the good word and everything else. But James, there's only 2 questions I see out there. Do you see any more?
Nope, I think that does it. I'll just, if you're all set, I'll go ahead and launch our poll for today.
Okay, sounds great.
And I did want to thank Chris Carmen from Work Ethic again. Really appreciate their support and their partnership and all that they're doing in the world of adult education and adult literacy. Without their support, we wouldn't be able to put on webinars like these and offer them to our membership. So we really are grateful and appreciate everything they're doing. I want to thank everybody for attending today. Jeff, thank you for a great presentation.
Hey, James,
that
thanks
was
for
awesome. A lot of great information in there.
Yes, and thanks for sharing, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to share the great news that we're doing in Osceola. And I know that everybody's doing great work out there. And when we have an opportunity to share, and every time I tune in, I pick something up from somebody and share it. So please don't be afraid to email me or text, call, or tweet me, and I'll be more than happy to help you out any way we can. I think that's how we learn in adult education. That's how we share best practices. So it's been my pleasure to share the great stuff that we're doing here in Central Florida.
Great. Thank you so much. Have a great day, Jeff. Everybody who's attended, thank you very much. Have a great day and a great rest of the week, everybody.
Okay, man. Have a good holiday. Thanks, guys.
You too.